After World War II, South Korea emerged from the haze of war in desperate need of economic independence. In response to this sense of crisis, the South Korean government focused its national efforts on supporting some large corporations to cope with global competition. After accumulating decades of foundation, these large corporations gradually developed into the present-day Chaebol. Chaebol means a large family business group in South Korea. The Chaebol were the foundation of South Korea's economic prosperity, and they have been responsible for the country's economic transformation, achieving compressive growth in Korea for decades. However, over the decades, nourished by the tilted government, these corporations have expanded unchecked and have developed into a huge powerhouse that controls the lifeblood of Korea, kidnapping the economy and swaying the government, leaving the Korean government and people in a dilemma. For Koreans, the Chaebol have developed into an airy presence, with these giant trees spreading their roots and branches into every aspect of the Korean economy. Samsung's revenue alone accounts for 20% of Korea's GDP, so it's no wonder the Washington Post says Koreans can't avoid three things in life: death, taxes, and Samsung. In Korea, 1 out of every $5 of output is contributed by the Samsung Group. According to data from the Korea Fair Trade Commission, there are currently 45 corporate groups in Korea that meet the traditional definition of a Chaebol. However, the plutocratic character of Korea is not only reflected in the high economic dependence on Chaebol but also in the polarization of scale within the plutocratic form, with only a few plutocrats having great economic strength. Samsung Group, Hyundai Group, LG Group and SK Group are the top Korean company, and the assets owned by these four groups alone account for 26% of the country's total assets and 20% of the total sales of Korean companies. In the stock market, the share of these four companies in the total market value has risen to nearly half in 2014. Here's a brief introduction to them. Samsung Group. Samsung Group was founded in 1938 and is currently the most profitable Chaebol in Korea. It started as a small food trading company, exporting mainly fruit, dried fish and noodles to China. In 2010, Samsung Group's sales accounted for 22.1% of Korea's GDP. In the past 80 years, Samsung's involvement in the field expanded to include electronics, finance, shipping, hotels, hospitals, entertainment, education, etc. Its subsidiaries have 79, including the largest and most well-known Samsung Electronics. In the past decade, Samsung Electronics in Korea's domestic GDP accounted for more than 14%. However, Samsung Electronics is only one of a large network of subsidiaries of the Samsung Group. In addition to its electronics business, Samsung Real Estate is also an international company, with the world's most famous landmark towers, the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur and the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, all owned by Samsung Real Estate. LG Group. LG Group is the second largest Chaebol in Korea after Samsung. LG Group started its development in the chemical and plastic industry in 1947, and since the 1960s, the company has invested heavily in consumer electronics, telecommunications networks, home appliances, and chemical businesses including cosmetics and household products. The company has 81 group companies and more than 300 overseas offices in 171 countries and regions, with businesses in chemical energy, electronics and appliances, communications and services, such as LG cell phones. SK Corp. SK Group employs over 10,000 people in China and operates under the principle of taking from China, using in China, and having Chinese people participate in management. In the early 1950s, the Choi family purchased the site of the Sunking Textile Co. Today SK Corp. manages about 80 subsidiaries, mainly in the energy, chemical, finance, shipping, insurance and construction industries. Its best-known subsidiaries include SK Telecom, Korea's largest wireless carrier, and SK Hynix, the world's second-largest memory chip maker. SK has become familiar to young people in recent years because of the famous game League of Legends, in which the SK-sponsored T1 team has won the World Championship 3 times, and one of its players, Lee Faker Sang-hyuk, is regarded as the first League of Legends player. Hyundai Group. Founded in 1947 as a small construction company, Hyundai Group quickly grew to include dozens of subsidiaries in the automotive, shipbuilding, finance and electronics industries. After the Asian financial crisis and the death of its founder, Young Cho-young, in 2003, the group underwent a split and reorganization, focusing its efforts on 5 areas: construction, electronics, heavy industry, automotive, and service. Currently, Hyundai Motor Company is the third largest automobile manufacturer in the world, and Hyundai Heavy Industries is the world's largest shipbuilding company. Nowadays, many young Koreans consider working for the Chaebol as their lifelong career and goal, not only to pass the fierce competition at various levels but also to pass the customized loyalty test of the Chaebol. That is, they must not make any critical remarks or actions against the Chaebol during their past schooling, otherwise will not accept them even if they are good. Criticism of the Chaebol became an inviolable sanctuary. Secondly, with the distorted salary structure in Korea, the difference in salary between a person working in a large corporation and a small or medium-sized enterprise can often be more than 3 times. For example, according to 2015 statistics, the starting salary of Samsung Electronics is about $2,250 US, while the starting salary of small and medium-sized enterprises is usually only 1 million won $900 US. So it can be said that the root cause of the wealth gap in Korea is the salary gap between large plutocrats and small and medium-sized enterprises. Here is Monopony. Welcome to like, comment and subscribe. See you next episode.